Hey tribe, I hope everything is well. Welcome to Creative Illuminations. This is the Universally Aligned Misfits informational YouTube channel. I do have another channel called the Hard Knock Life of Tarot. You guys may know me through my spiritual readings. If not, how y'all doing? If you do, y'all already know this is Rashun, always coming through on the ones and twos. I do appreciate you guys for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and your subscriptions. Please do not forget to do the same here, as well as on the Hard Knock Life of Tarot, if you are interested in any spiritual readings that I may have for the collective. I appreciate you guys. My name is Rashun Enigma, and we are about to tap into our informational system. So if you don't know, I am a conglomerate organization that runs mentoring, health coaching, um, life coaching, spiritual advising, art relief, art trauma. So I use different forms of arts to heal past life traumas and current life traumas. So I got my hands in different couple little projects, and right now I've been working on the spiritual advising, my health coaching, the lose 15 pounds in 15 days. And now I am doing another educational project, which is I am implementing the learning system of the University Aligned Misfits. So today I'm going to introduce you to one of our subjects, which is Egyptology. And we're going to start with learning from our ancestors. The name of this book is called The Book of Doors Divination Deck. I actually bought the deck off of Amazon, and the book came with it, but the book got so much informative information, historical, and I feel like that it is important, and I think I should share it with you. Excuse me. So without further delay, we're going to get into the Book of Doors Divination Deck. And this book is by, it says, An Alchemical Oracle in Ancient Egypt by Anthon Beggy and Allison Davidson. And this is how the book looks. Yes, it has water damage, but I was able to save it. So thank the universe for that, right? So without further delay, guys, give me 1 second. I need some water, and then we're going to continue. Okay, guys. So I got my water. My mouth is very dry. So we're going to get through this, okay? I don't know. My throat is very parched today, but we're still going to read the chapters. We're going to read 2 chapters, and we're going to get illuminated, and we're going to learn something. So let's go, all right? So alchemy is the first chapter, the sacred science of ancient chem, okay? With the aid of imagination, the Book of Doors gives us access to the spirit of the old and sacred land of Egypt. The double kingdom, here the magic of the Naturu flowed through the blood of the dwellers of the fertile valley and the shifting desert. It was almost parallelable in the air, and the Terran itself is still impregnated with the occult power of ancestral gods. Their symbolic images, whether human or animal, bird or reptile, vividly portray the cosmic forces they embody. Under the burning sun of the desert, the beautiful but savage goddess Sekhmet hunts her prey and and laps her victim's warm blood from the sand. By the upper reaches of the great river Nile, the inscrutable happy pulls back the bolts to let loose the yearly inundation flooding the federal inundation flooding the fertile delta below. At night, the dark velvet warmth of nuts enfolds all, her body glittering with the stars from which the ancient ones came. These ancient ones live on through the book of the doors. Their names are called again, some of them familiar with myth and legend carried far into our lands. It should be remembered that the identity of these Nituru, as set out in the Book of Doors, evolved over thousands of years. Many of the Nituru were merged with others during different dynasties and changing political and religious climates. Some were raised to great heights in the worship of the people and then became almost forgotten. Other Natiru are not so well known, even though the origins of some of them extend beyond even the earliest dynasties. We shall call these Naturu by their Egyptian names rather than by their Greek equivalents, even though these latter may be known, better be known. Thus, Isis is Aset, Thoth is Tahuti, and Horus is Heru, great powers of nature, of the earth, and of the cosmos. The Naturu tell the story of creation and dissolution of life and death. Each Natiru expresses a phase of the alchemical operation, the occult science whose origins lie deeply rooted in Chem. Chem is spelled Khem. The word alchemy is derived from the Arabic name for Egypt, al-Kemet, which means black earth. The black earth is the materia prima of the alchemists, the pure, unformed, primordial substance from which the creation emerged. From the fertile soil of the Nile Valley, alchemy spread outwards to Europe and the Near East to flourish in the Islamic world, its influence extending as far as India. During the European Renaissance of the 16th and 17th centuries, many alchemical texts were translated and printed, and Hermeticism reached its height. It soon fell rapidly into corruption before the demystifying and material rationality of Western thought. Alchemy then became a term that meant the mere pursuit of gold, ignorant of its essence, forgetting its source. Give me 1 second, guys. My throat is really going through it over here. So as you guys can see, we are going over the history of the gods of the Egyptian period. Okay, and we're going to cover what these gods meant to these people back in the day and possibly what they mean to you. Okay? These gods played a very important role into civilization, not only then, but now. So it depends on your belief system and how you tap into your ancestors, right? So you never know. Just believe and be different. All right, let's continue. The true alchemists concealed the real nature of their experiments from the outer world in the labyrinth of symbols understood by the initiate. Likewise, in the Egyptian temples, excuse me, where the sacred science of Kim, the profound occult knowledge of thousands of years, was concealed within the outer religion of a system of symbols, hieroglyphs, and sacred names. For alchemy is not only concerned with the production of gold, as it is commonly believed, but it was and is science penetrating the deepest secrets of nature, of life and death, of the beginning of existence. The Egyptians were accurate observers of nature, and their knowledge embodied a deep understanding of nature's cycle. This is well illustrated in the alchemical work, where its phases of transmutation were identified with the process of mining precious metals from the womb of the earth, a sacred occupation of the priesthood. The extraction of these noble metals from the impure ores and their violent purification by fire corresponded to the inner spiritual process of transmutation as the initiate entered through the doors of Pythians of spiritual initiations. Page 6, top of page. As Titus Buckhart writes, the whole of the Egyptian art of metals and minerals in its efforts to extract the secret and precious essence from an earthly substance show an obvious spiritual relationship with alchemy. Or, to quote, alchemy is not merely an art or science to teach metallic transmutation so much as a true and solid science that teaches how to know the center of all things, which in the divine language is called spirit of life. So basically, they're trying to tell you that being an alchemist doesn't only evolve around learning about the metals or about turning gold and becoming rich, but more so the science, the essence of life, on how you can give life, period, to situations or to projects that you may be working on. Like, you are the alchemist of your life. You are the one that can birth out whatever that you manifest. So they want you to realize it's more than just about silver and gold, but the essence of using your magic to produce a reasonable outcome that you're looking for in life is what I'm picking up. I hope that makes sense. Let's continue. All right. The Emerald Tablet. All right. Alchemy is a sacred science of Tahuti, the Lord of all knowledge and inventor of all the arts and sciences. The Hermetic text known as the Emerald Tablet is said to be the world of Tahuti or Thoth, thrice great Hermes himself. It is the alchemist's table of law passed down to us through the centuries It is the alchemist's table of law passed down to us through the centuries in Arabic and Latin translations, teaching the secrets of transmutation of the elements and eventually the way to spiritualize the body and embody the spirit. Okay? The Emerald Tablet continued. True it is, without falsehood, certain and very well. What is below is as that which is above, and what is above is that which is below, in order to perform the miracle of one thing only. And just as all things have been and have came forth from one, so all things have been born of this sole singular thing by adaptation. The sun is its father, the moon is its mother, and the wind has carried it in its belly. The earth is its nurse, the father of the entire telesma of the whole world is here. Its force of prescience is entire. If it too be converted into the earth, thou shalt separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the dense, gently, and with great ingenuity. It rises from earth to heaven and descends to earth, and it receives the strength of things above and below by the means. Thou shalt have the glory of the world, and thou its all obscurity with flee from thee. This is the strong strength of all strength, for it will vanquish any subtle things and penetrate any solid thing. Thus has the world been created. For this there will come forth marvelous adaptations, the means of which is here. Therefore I here been called Hermes Trismegistus, processing the three parts of the philosophy of the entire world. What I have said concerning the operation of the sun is accomplished and perfected from the commentaries of Al-Holarianton cited in Scuola de Lubias, 1982, 170. That's beautiful. That's so poetic. I can tell that's thought. As you can see, I was wanting to go off with that. That thing sounds good. Child, I love it. I love knowledge. I love wisdom. I love tapping into our ancestors, and this is most definitely poetry. This is I want to say one of the parts from the Emerald Tablet. Let's continue to learn more about our ancestors. Egyptology 101 lessons. Let's go. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, y'all. So let's continue with the rest of the chapter. Let's go. Described in the ancient alchemical text is the occult process of transformation of the elements, the liberation of creative fire, Heru, from his earthbound prison, epitomized by Seth, and the separation of the subtle from the dense of spirit from matter, and the final union of the transformed elements into the philosopher's stone, the substance of perfection. Each of the 65 Nibiru in the Book of Doors play their part in the alchemical operation, from the 8 primordials and their homes of primeval mud and water to the coming forth by day, the culmination of the magical work with the appearance of the sun rising from the dark and chaotic shadow realm of the Duat. The sun is the gold of the alchemists, the incarnated light that expresses the perfection of both metallic, and human existence. Metallic. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I'm saying that right. Okay. The Emerald Tablet gives us a schema for grouping the Nibiru into families that are based on the 4 elements and the principles of alchemy. The resulting 8 families of Nibiru are primordials: 1, 2, heaven; 3, fire; 4, moon; 5, sun; 6, wind; 7, earth; 8, Duat. Then I have Tepe, Ayu, Un, the ancestors of Un, Pet, Ak, Hut, A, Ra, Nef, Ta, and Duat again. Okay? Each family is made up of 8 Nibiru, and the 8 phases multiplied by 8 results in a 64 Nibiru system that expresses the geniuses of the universe and the development from pure energy into matter, and then to the dissolution of matter in a cycle of birth and rebirth. The cessation of Nibiru in each family shows how the primordial creative energy is transformed and guided through the medium of a particular element. For example, in the family of Ak-Ahut, or fire, Patai represents the original creative spirit of the fire element. Bastet 2 attracts and unites opposing forces within herself. Sekhmet. 3. Unites the original impulse. Ptah. 2. Form the creative triad. Best. Number 4. The initiator of fire reveals the transformation of the four elements. Nefertrum. 5. Is the quint essence of fire, the child of Ptah and Sekhmet. Hit. 6. Reveals the perfect balance of forces. As Thothric. 7. Manifests fire, nature, and she expresses the primal energy on earth. I am Hotep. 8. The healer restores or resurrects the creative spirit at the completion of the cycle. Thus, in each family, one goes through the same alchemical process, from the original prime matter to the completion of work. The eighth card in the series of the mythical ring, serving as a connection with the following series, with dissolving of one into the other. Number 8 is at the same time the end of a cycle and the beginning of another, which is placed at a different level of existence in the progression from below to above and vice versa until the entire sequence of existence is completed. I thought it was number 9, but they saying number 8. Wow, you learn something new every day. Let's continue to pull. I'm talking about pull like I'm reading cards. Let's continue to read. In a similar way, in the Tao's condition of the I Ching, the cycle is accomplished in 64 hexagrams. In the Indian Tantras, the sacred books are 64, and there are 64 yoginas, namely the forms of energy making up the universe. The Etrusans used to divine by means of an animal's liver divided into 16 parts. 64 is a multiple of 16. Imaging the sky, which was also divided into 16 zones belonging to corresponding gods. 16 is also the key number in the Ifa divination of the Yoruba religion from West Africa. Wow. You learn something new every day, right? In addition to the Emerald Tablet, the other key to unlock the door is the law of numbers encoded on the Pythagoras. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. That felt good. In addition to the Emerald Tablet, the other key is to unlock the door to the law of numbers encoded by the Pythagoras and the famous Pythagorean tablet reproduced on the back cover of this book. When diagonally divided, this table represents the reflected principle of the Emerald Tablet, as above, so below. The families are also arranged according to the elements in all the alchemical phases. So an alchemical family is a group of Neturu, not necessarily belonging to traditional groups or Paiutes, as the Egyptian cosmography placed them, but as belonging to the same alchemical principle. These 8 principles represent the various alchemical tenets of the Emerald Tablet interacting with each other. To every nectar corresponds a number, and the number defines a quality. Pythagoras taught us that everything is ordained by numbers. Creation begins when numbers begin, when it is possible to give something a name and an origin. According to Neocumbo de Grecia, primeval chaos that was lacking in order and form, and everything that differentiates with categories was organized and ordained by numbers. Cole Keeler, 1957-53. End of quote. Okay, so yeah, that was an end quote, end of quote by that particular author. So let's continue. So we can deduce that Pythagoras, an initiate of the Egyptian mysteries, the Pythagorean table, in fact, with a deeper study of the tablet, is it possible to comprehend the cosmic order of the Nibiru, given by their numbers. The Pythagorean table is a magic square. The magic of the magic squares come from the fact that any number multiplied by itself gives as a geometric result a square, and a square is the symbol of realization on the level of manifestation. Such squares, therefore, where every number corresponds to a sound or a hieroglyph, give us the keys to enter into that related part of creation. Which follows is a brief resume of the significance of numbers 1 through 8, and how they relate to the alchemical process outlined in the Emerald Table. Number 1, the totality, the perfect unity of all things correspond to the state of matter in its creative essence, to the as above of the Emerald Tablet, to the sacred 8 primordials, and to what was taught in Hermopolis, and what was taught in Hermopolis, Camino, and Egyptian, which is the city of the 8. To this above corresponds the prime matter, the initial alchemical phase, the subject of the work. This matter is the primeval mud or heel on which the primordials stand. The 8 primordials, the sacred Ugadot, are a group of cosmic principles connected to the formation of matter. They are the seeds of the elements and all that flows. They are the inner secret of formation of matter. The number 2, with its multiplying meaning, corresponds to the heaven family, and that it represents the multiplying and combined form of primal energy, and symbolizes the process through which matter assumes different forms and combinations. This family corresponds to the Emerald Tablet, to the statement, it rises from earth to heaven. Number 3 is the number of fire, masculinity, and fatherhood. Of essence. It is the impulse that naturally represents alchemical sulfur, which is primal fire, original power, and in the Emerald Tablet, it corresponds to the statement, thou shalt separate the earth from fire, the subtle from dense. Number 4 is the number of manifestation, of becoming of the body's creation, and thus feminine and maternal. It is merciful, fluidic, and it is associated with the moon. And the Emerald Tablet, it is associated with the phase. The moon is its mother. The number 5 is the number of quintessence of the elixir of the spirit, corresponding to the sun. Another masculine number, it corresponds to the sun, is its father. And the Emerald Tablet, the number 6 is the number of light, balance, and the complements of the opposites. It is feminine and maternal and corresponds with the wind. The alchemists say that life begins with the 6 And the emerald tablet says the wind has carried it in its belly. The number 7 is manifestation in nature. It is the septenary link with the cosmos, a masculine and parental number. It corresponds with the earth, Jeb, the faithful earth, the nurturing earth, and in the emerald tablet, the earth is its nurse. The number 8 and the number of death of transformation, a female and maternal number. It is initiatic, rebirth, the start of a new cosmic formation after the desolation. It is what is below in the emerald tablet that brings us back, therefore, to the soul singular thing. At this point, it is vital to understand the principles of Mayat and Tahuti, on which both the emerald tablet and the whole Egyptian system is based. The emerald tablet begins with the statement, true it is, without falsehood, certain and very real. Truth is nothing more than that truth, and justice in heart of Mayat, the magical alchemical foundation of life, the basis of the work and the foundation of Egypt, which on earth is the perfect epitome of this comic principle. The words certain and very well corresponds to Tahuti, nectar of knowledge, edge, and all magical creation. Without determination and certainty, the absence of doubt, success is impossible to reach. When Mayat and Tahuti are both present in a person who wants to operate magically, the work can be accomplished. This is chapter 1 of the Doors, the Book of the Doors divination deck. We will continue with part 2 in 1 second. See you guys in a few.